Welcome to another Women Wednesday, and today we're speaking with Nadia Pessarossi from Rubik3. Good morning, Nadia. How are you?
Hi, good. Great to be here.
Now, Nadia, you have done a lot of different things in your career so far.
Yes.
You've worked in many and varied spaces. Are you able to give us a little bit of a background, I guess, on some of the things that you've done and where you're at today with Rubik3 and how it's got you, I guess, to Rubik3 today?
Yeah, sure. I think, have been a Canberra girl, born and bred out in Murray Bateman. So, country girl, come Canberra girl. But certainly, I suppose what really structured my main career was my role at the Australian War Memorial. Also, just being a history buff, loving that through school. I think I really found, and that wasn't until my 30s where I was working there at the Australian War Memorial and did all the product development and the Lone Pine project and Centenary, and also through the War Memorial I was able to work with Soldier On, a non-for-profit, which is where I suppose it really opened me up to the fact that non-for-profits are very much still a small business. We always say we don't like to call them non-for-profits because it's not a bad thing that they make profit, because that profit goes back into the community.
Absolutely.
So I suppose that sort of really got my attention the most and realised that was my passion. And even for the War Memorial, that is one of the only cultural institutions where the profits actually do go back into the memorial, whether it goes into the galleries or the education spaces. And so that was always really motivating as well. And of course, the main thing was working through Anzac Centenary and achieving so much there. And never really saw myself leaving the War Memorial, but then was sort of, I suppose, headhunted through a non-for-profit with the Tara Costigan Foundation.
Yeah.
And the family kind of reached out and said, look, we've started this, we're 6 months in, we need some help. Like we don't know what to do, but we've got all these supporters. We can see the gap in the market, with this angel program, can you come on board and help us? And so, look, for a while I was working, you could say 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was working at TCF very closely with the family, with the uncle, Michael Costigan, and then, also my little one was in preschool and obviously then kindergarten and then working full time at the War Memorial. So that sort of then got me into that space where, it got to the point where I was like, okay, it's time to leave the War Memorial. It had quietened down a lot after Anzac Centenary.
Yeah.
Really felt like I achieved so much and knew that I could, as I always say, use my powers for good elsewhere.
Yep.
And then obviously, sort of in that non-for-profit space and very proudly can say with Tara's uncle established the Tara's Angel Service, which is now still going. Then that also gave me my next step to my main career, which is now, being the coup at Rubik3, which is absolutely my home and place forever now, yeah.
If you think back to those days where the Tara Costigan Foundation did kind of come after you, they headhunted you, why did they come for you? What special skill set do you have that made them go, we need that lady? I know what that is, but I want you to tell everyone else.
I think a mixture of a lot of things. I think I'm a really passionate person and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so I think a lot of people, my best friend Tan said to me once, Nad, you're really honest and direct, and sometimes people are scared of that because I am sort of no bullshit. And so I think they could see that I, put your money where your mouth is. I sat down with them and said, look, this is what you need to do. I know my main skill set is people and project management. So I think they saw, here's somebody that genuinely wants to help, that isn't after isn't after just the golden dollar, genuinely wants to make a change within the community, and also has those skill sets of running a small business and to be able to make a true change in a very broken system.
You've touched on a really, really important point for us here at Specialists in Communications, where we believe that honesty and empathy is so very important in communications, and it's often the thing that's forgotten. Some people want to come across as so strong, and they put on this mask, I guess, and as you've said, that's not what people want these days. They want a real person, they want empathy, and they want honesty. Would you agree with that?
100%, yeah, and that's why I'm so like I said, I found my home with Rubik, because although we're you could say corporate consulting firm, just under the big four, but the executive team, the owner, Guy Earnshaw, it's so ethical and so honest and genuine. And if you're not that type of person, you don't actually last at Rubik. We have had people that genuinely can't relate to the way we do business, because we do it. It's about transparency, honesty and relationships. The art of listening, actually responding to clients in a prompt way. And for us, I just think you just can't go wrong. If you're just open and honest and you are that genuine person that genuinely cares, I think that's where people go, actually, you know what, I want to deal with these people. And we get calls all the time at Rubik. I want to be a contractor under Rubik because I just love your values. I see what you do in the community. And so it just, it speaks for itself.
Absolutely. And on the Rubik front, you work very closely with small and medium businesses in this space. And I like to refer to you as a bit of a small and medium business advocate. What's your strongest focus at Rubik? What drives you every day? What do you want to achieve on a daily basis at Rubik?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I suppose we all have many hats, I suppose in the business. But for myself, look, first and foremost, it is the internal team. We're only an internal team of 11. So it's making sure the culture stays as strong as it does, and that everybody, is part of that value system. And you'll find that then flows on to how we all do our work. So, our main thing is we want to change people's lives for the better. So, whether that's through mentoring, it's literally might just be sitting down with a business to help them work out what KPIs are for their staff. It's doing, business checks. But it's really about how can we make you sustainable? What's your goal for your business? And let's get you there, and we'll support you the whole way. So holistically, we can offer, a strategic marketing plan for them. We can offer them a team. We can just coach them. It's really about genuinely wanting to help people and to have a strong, sustainable business like Rubik has. I think it's funny that a lot of people pop up and, I'm a business coach. Well, have you ever run a business? Have you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just like lived experiences are so much more than a textbook. And that's what we have at Rubik, and I certainly have that as well.
You obviously help anybody that approaches Rubik3, but do you have a lot of, because it's Women Wednesday, I'm just putting a little bit of a tilt on our women at the moment. A lot of women take time off to have their children and raise families, and I know that men do that as well. But do you find that there's a lot of women that are approaching you going, I don't really know what I want to do now. I want to get back into the workforce, or I want to start my own small business, and they just need that help and guidance, and that's something that you're able to assist with?
Yes, 100%. And look, I was there too. I mean, when you come back from maternity leave, oh my God, can you even put it into words? How suddenly you're treated differently. You're running around to get this kid to childcare. You're trying to be, a boss woman, but you're really going, oh my God, I miss my little one. What's he doing? Yeah. And you're trying to stay focused.
And scared. Scared. I honestly felt when I went back to work after having my kids, I felt very vulnerable and scared. I wanted to do a good job, but I felt everyone was waiting for me to fail.
Oh my God, I know. And the guilt,
and I don't think they were, but that's how I felt.
No, I know. Yeah. I know. But, also, being late in the morning, late to meetings and just
Absolutely.
going, "Oh, sorry, but he vomited everywhere and I had to change." It's just
It's
like,
so true.
yeah, and it is. And I think as well, that's just a mindset. And even, look, whether you've come back from maternity leave or not, or women, we question ourselves and we say, "Oh, can we do this?" And I think it's giving yourself a pep talk every day and telling yourself, "No, I've got this. I can do this." And,
sure.
I think for me, when I do mentor a lot of business, and one of my favourite clients is Dixie Crawford, this gorgeous Aboriginal consultant. And she said to me, Nadia, I feel like I can actually achieve all these goals because of you. Now, really, Jen, I don't do that much. I just listen to them and say, "Well, of course you can do that. Of course you can do that." And they go, "Yeah, I can do that." And then off they go and they do it. So, and look, I can't see that ever changing with women, I think. And, because we question so much anyway.
Yeah.
And then you just need somebody to say, "Yeah, go for it." But on the flip side as well, the honesty side, what we discussed is if you're an honest person, they also say, "Well, no," because sometimes, Dixie will bring something to me and I go, "No, what do you want to do that for?" And so I think it's also people going, you know what, if it's a terrible idea that's going to cause me, financial or any other worries, they know that I will speak up and say, "Well, no, let's look at it a bit differently."
Absolutely.
And that's where that trust comes from, which I know you guys, have those same values as well.
And key to this is people are after someone that can mentor them, but mentor them from a very honest and straight shooting position.
Very much.
Yeah. And obviously that's what happens at Rubik3.
Yeah, very much, yeah. And, of course, we've got the beautiful community side, which I think, again, is certainly one of the main values from when Guy Earnshaw started the business. He gave back to the community even before Rubik could really probably afford it. So that's the fun side as well of the businesses, that we certainly support a lot of non-for-profits within Canberra and around Australia, and especially within the Indigenous community, because it's not just giving them money. That's not how you help somebody. Funding is always good assistance, but what do you do with this funding?
Yeah.
How can we make it sustainable?
Know how to use it.
Yeah, let's do a strategic plan for the charity that you want to start or that you're working on. Where are the problems? So, obviously my background as well is really handy because I'm able to work side by side with a lot of our non-for-profits and not do the work, but say, "Hey, let's look at a fundraising event. Let's actually look at ways we can get awareness and get you sustainable so you can keep doing this amazing work within the community."
You've had lots of rewarding roles. As you said, the War Memorial was amazing, Tara Costigan Foundation, and now Rubik3. What do you find as the most rewarding thing at the end of each day? Is it the compliment that someone's given you? Is it job satisfaction? Is it a combination of a whole heap of things?
Yeah, look, it's probably a combination. I honestly, and it is that cliche, I'm, mid-40s now, and it's absolutely, I'm just happy with everything. And I know that when people actually, when you see, when you get people like Dixie saying, "Nadia, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't because of you." And when I see the team at Rubik, they are such a beautiful team and they are really good people. So to know that we've built this team that I always hear such beautiful comments about Rubik, that is what makes me really happy. And the fact that I can, pick up my child from school and, keep working from home in the afternoons and have that life balance.
That flexibility, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If there's anyone out there at the moment who's listening to this interview, and I'm sure they're finding you as inspiring as what I am, and they're feeling a little bit stuck, they do want to either go back to work or they're contemplating starting their own business. I mean, that's the bucket that I was in. I could go back to the public service where I felt like I'd kind of done my time. Or I could really take this path and kickstart. I'm a cake decorator as well and start my own cake decorating business, which is what I did. But sometimes you've got to be so brave to take that step. And I was petrified. I packed in a really, really good job to do that. Would you encourage people to come and have a chat?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think because it's funny what you just said there, because I remember when because as you know, no one resigns from the public service, right? So when I was resigning from the War Memorial, everyone was like, but what about your superannuation? And I was like, well, I'm not dying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, every job pays superannuation. It's okay. Like, I know it's not as high, but why would I stay somewhere for another 30 years?
It's very real. And I guess that's part of living in Canberra too. The public service plays such a critical role in Canberra. I'm not denying that. But when you walk away from it, people question why you're doing it. And all of a sudden you're going, what am I doing? Should I not be doing this?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. But no, I would love, we're always happy to have a chat. We've got a beautiful office in Braddon. We've got the best coffee in Canberra along that street. But always really happy. And if anybody, wants to, I think the other thing is you need somebody to talk shop with.
Yeah.
You need, somebody to bash out some ideas, to do a bit of a brain dump. Yeah. And that's exactly what we're here for. So always happy for anyone to reach out.
Nadia, look, it's been absolutely fabulous talking to you today. We could talk all day. I could keep going, but we will finish it off there. But we might touch base with you down the track and and hone in on some of your skills and how you might be able to help some of our listeners out there. But thank you so much for joining us today for Women Wednesday.
No problem. Thanks for having me.